Hello, my friends. This is Andy over at the Andy Falco Show, coming to you live from California. Nice to see you. It's so funny watching people hop on and hop off. Like the number goes up really fast and then goes down really fast. Like they must read the title and go, I'm not going to listen to this. Hey, Larry, nice to see you. Glad you joined me, and thank you for commenting. The comments are encouraged, and I beg of you to do a little bit of commenting, because that's the way that this thing kind of gets pushed out. It's already being throttled. It's been it's bad. It is bad. So I need you guys to subscribe. I need you to share. I need you to do all this stuff to help me out. That is, again, why I created the podcast. I've been meaning to do it for a very long time, but I wasn't sure that this was a show that was going to stick. But I get so many comments. I get lots of private comments. Not a lot of people comment on the screen. I'm encouraging you through my shows to begin to speak out and to begin to do stuff like that. But I know you're scared. I know you have other things you need to worry about. But I'm here to tell you right now that you actually don't. I know that you think you do, but you don't. Let's first get to the sponsors. And that is one of the greatest things that I've come across lately. And I have, I don't have a bottle of it here. I thought I had it, but I took it away. And that is this company. If you go to todayshappycoffee.com, you'll see the company name there. It's my branded name. If I say the name of the company, then it makes things confusing. All you need to go is todayshappycoffee.com. You'll see it there. They have coffee, peach tea, a lemonade. It's called Zest. They have chai tea, chocolate. I guess it's a chocolate drink. I guess it's hot chocolate, but you can drink it cold too. But it's fantastic. They all have nootropics in there. They got a bunch of ingredients that are really healthy. They got a little bit of caffeine that kind of kicks you into gear, but it really is the hormones that are put in there. The endorphins and other types that are in there. I don't have my list here. I gotta actually memorize that so I can give you guys a better commercial. But I'm telling you, it is fantastic. I cannot go without it. It's not like I'm addicted. I don't want you to get the wrong idea. But I love it so much because it just is a great drink. It tastes good. But today I realized it was 2:00 and I hadn't eaten yet. I woke up, had my coffee, which has a appetite suppressant. I then went for a bike ride up to the Redwoods, which is just up the street from my house here. And then I took the peach tea with me. And next thing you know, it's 2:00 in the afternoon. And I go, shoot, I haven't eaten yet. The clock reminded me, not my stomach. So the appetite suppressant for me is fantastic. And then I have the CBD oil that I, again, take every day. I have a cream that I put on my neck and my shoulder. I have lots of injuries. You've heard my story before, pole vaulting and hockey and police officer, a couple car crashes, pursuits, chasing bad guys and that kind of stuff. And some of the injuries I had, this took their toll on my body, but the CBD and the cream have changed my life. Today's CBDoil.com. Vasail is one of the top 50 healthcare companies in the world. And then you have Today's Vasail, which we just came out with you got to get it. Right now they have a great deal. You buy you buy 3, get 1 free. Buy 3, get 1 free. That way you can have 2 vanilla, 2 chocolate. One is plant-based, and the other one is whey, if I'm correct, remembering this correctly. And they have amino acids, what do they call it? I already forgot the name. But it has liposome technology, which allows the great nutrients that are in there that are in addition to the protein to get into your body and become more effective for your body. So go to todaysvasail.com. All right, let's get to some of the things. And I hope this isn't going to be a show that's kind of all over the place, but there were so many things, between the weekend, about some new stuff coming out in regard to the Russia collusion and the evidence against Biden and Obama and his administration and spying. There's so much stuff with that is just like mind-boggling that they got away with it for so long and that it's taken this long for all to fall apart. And to think and to see all the people that are involved is crazy. Go to Dan Bongino's podcast today. The story on the Russian spying on the Trump campaign and then his administration. It really is incredible. It is sad that the media is ignoring it. It is sad that nobody. If this happened to any other president, it would be bigger than Watergate. It's bigger than Watergate, and yet it's being ignored. You have to really listen to Dan's show today. He came out with some really interesting stuff today, and so. There you go. All right. I need to do this too. You need to do this too. Go to getstreamyard.live. Go to getstreamyard.live. Where is it? Getstreamyard.live. There you go. Go to that, getstreamyard.live and begin to do this show and just start doing it. Just start talking. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. Don't go the hour that I go. I don't know how I go on an hour. I'm shocked that I go on that long. But you had all that. So then I go to church, right? I go to church in Chino Hills. It's Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills. I started going back. I want to say it was May. I'm not sure now. It may be June. I don't know. I just know that I've been going every Sunday. And I saw all the news media about all of the the hysteria about Sturgis, right? Oh my God, Sturgis is going to kill everybody. But yet they've been rioting in Portland. I'm going to talk about this later on, but for 72 days, hundreds and hundreds and maybe even thousands of people in the streets rioting for 72 days. And they have not said nothing about that, right? That's not a concern. They're rioting in Chicago. You got people getting shot in Chicago. You got New York. You got Baltimore. You got all this craziness going on in California, Los Angeles. You got 300,000 homeless people living, in Los Angeles, all packed together. You have all that going on based on Democratic crappy policies. And yet the only thing they talked about was Sturgis. How that was going to kill everybody in the country. It really, when is it time? What is it going to take for you to wake up? Those of you that are Democrats that are finally going, okay, I can't hide. I can't take it anymore. My party is completely whacked out. They've lost their freaking mind. It's happening. I have a bunch of people that are part of the Walk Away campaign. Just got notified this morning about another. I told you about the couple on the weekend, I think, and then today another one. It's a former Democrat. He goes, okay, I can't do it. I've tried. I tried to support Biden. I tried all this stuff, and then all the collusion stuff came out, and now I'm thinking I'm really in the wrong party, is what he told me. And he goes, I had to leave. And so it is really sad what is happening in each one of these states. It is all these long-term, decades-long Democratic rule that is simply destroying the country. It's just wackiness. And so I'm going to first come to this thing right here. Where is it? Oh man, I have it out of order. And so we have Gavin Newsom, right? He's in hiding because he wants our state locked down. He's been trying to keep trying to find every reason to make sure that our state has been locked down. And he's been using these stats of infections and how people are dying. Yet no child has died in California of COVID-19, and it actually has been flat and actually has been showing a lot of improvement. The thing is, he hates that it's been showing improvement. And there has to be something wrong. And so they found a glitch, right? There's this glitch that they found. And the director of the public health, it's funny because I used to work under the California state director of public health years ago, not this one, a different one, but he left and went to the FDA in Washington, DC. She abruptly resigned. Dr. Sonia Engel, I guess her name is, announced her departure late Sunday night. So last night she decided that she was going to resign, whether she was told to resign, whether she resigned out of embarrassment, whether she said maybe she doesn't want to be complicit in the lies that are being told by the governor that things are really, really horribly bad and we can't open up schools, we can't open up businesses, you can't go to church, you can riot. It's okay to riot in our state, but you can't go to church. You can't do anything else. Don't worry about that. But she resigned. And now, because of this glitch, supposedly, now they're not opening up the state, even though it's showing improvement in our state. Well, there's got to be a glitch. This cannot be right. And so it is so crazy here in California, because he said, after 14 days, our state showed improvement. And if each county showed improvement, then the schools in those counties could open up. And if improvement and it flattened out and all that kind of stuff were to occur, then everything could open. Right. Well, it's been 14 days and things have been going really good. And he goes, no, there's a glitch. There has to be a glitch. And so now the director resigns under secrecy, I guess, last night. And now he's gone into hiding. Apparently he hasn't spoke. He was doing his, I'm pretty sure, I don't even watch him. I can't stand even looking at the idiot. But he has gone into hiding apparently and doesn't want to talk about it. And so that's, it's kind of wacky. My chat is not visible. Your chat is visible. I can see it right there. And so So you got that. So then we have, that's the same story. I had created two stories because the first one that I just read was from a Republican. And when you read stuff from Republicans, people go, of course it's a bad story. So I had to find another one, and I found the very same story on NBC. So I was getting ready to bring up the very same story that is written by NBC and has the same information. So it's just not a Republican saying it's, again, I just wanted to make sure that I had well-rounded information. All right. So how about this? I'm going to actually put this up on the screen and show it here. But this is the other thing here in California. And I see somebody commented about, well, it's all President Trump's fault. That's what I just saw in one of the comments there. Okay. Maybe you don't understand how our it's just so dumb to even respond to something like that, because apparently he doesn't know how our country actually, runs. That, we have individual state governments, and then we have city governments. We have county seats. Listen, I love that everybody who hates Trump blames everything on him. Like, this guy who's supposedly incompetent, this guy who supposedly, does nothing but golf all day. Everything is his fault. I'm not sure how he can have a hand in everything and yet do nothing at the same time. But law-abiding Californians still under lockdown restrictions while convicts released. This was from when? August 8th. So just the other day. And so 18,000 convicts will have been released. While California is still under Governor Gavin Newsom statewide lockdown and restrictions of most businesses and wearing masks is mandatory, convicted criminals are being released from prisons. By the end of August, 18,000 convicts will be released. A total of approximately 16,622 inmates have been released from 19 states across the country, ostensibly due to COVID-19. Fox News reported Alabama, Arizona, California, Colorado, a bunch of whole states, I'm not going to go through them all, already let convicted criminals out of prison or have announced plans to do so. Most states claim these are low-level, non-violent inmates, except we've already seen horrific news articles or released inmates who have gone on to rape and murder again. Convicted sex offenders have been released. And so as I come back from that screen, let me share one of those for you. In Maryland, we have a story here of that very thing. So in Maryland, a man charged with murder had earlier secured release from jail over coronavirus concerns, murdered again. So this gentleman right here, this fine-looking man right here, what's his name? Justin Andrew Wilson, 26, of Germantown, was arrested July 28th and charged in the death of Elgadio Lenzi. According to Montgomery County, Lenzi was fatally stabbed in his Germantown home on July 23rd. Well, if we go down here, it'll tell you Wilson was placed in custody while awaiting sentencing, according to online court records. But in April, he fled an emergency motion. He filed. I'm so used to these guys fleeing. He filed an emergency motion for release due to immediate threat posed by COVID-19 pandemic, according to records. And what he would have been arrested for was murder. That motion was granted at an April 30 hearing, according to records. An unsecured bond of $5,000 was set, and the sentencing hearing was postponed until November. So Wilson walked free for about 3 months until he was accused of fatally stabbing Lenzi. So there's just one example. Let me give you another example if that's not enough for you. Let's go to Virginia and talk about this guy. So in Virginia, this is from The Hill. And this is, when was this? This was August 7th. So just the other day. A man charged with rape is now accused of murdering his accuser after he was released from prison over coronavirus concerns. Abraham E. Buchichi was indicted last year of charges that included rape, sodomy, strangulation, and abduction. Nice guy. And was jailed without bond in Alexandria. Without bond. So he was jailed without bond in Alexandria, Virginia. He had been accused of rape by Carla Dominguez last October, and she testified about the crime in December. So she had the guts to get on the stand and testify against him. He was indicted last year on charges that included But in April, Bulichi's Lawyers argued that novel coronavirus put him and other inmates in danger, and a circuit court judge allowed for his release on $24,000 bond on the condition he stay confined. Oh, yeah, I'll stay confined to his Maryland home, except for meeting with his lawyers or trial officials. According to the Post, police say the 33-year-old returned to Alexandria on July 29th and shot and killed Dominguez outside her apartment. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to make you speak out. I'm not sure what's going to cause you to wake up, including the guy who, whatever, what the hell? Republicans control the Senate and the executive branch and the presidencies. Okay, Cameron, you need to go back to school. You need to go back to school because you're showing why our country is in trouble with our school system. Our school system is obviously taking way too lenient a stand on who gets to graduate from high school. Also, there was a glitch in the COVID reporting. Yes. Just it is. I just don't understand. The last thing, I'm going to keep this really short because I just wanted to bring up the fact that you got Gavin Newsom, who, with everything he said in 14 days, because, the thing is, they don't think this, they think if they just have more testing, their whole goal was, hey, let's get a bunch of testing. It'll show a bunch of people have it. It'll give the appearance that we're just in this is skyrocketing. We're all getting infected, right? That was the thing, because you remember in 2009, I brought this up before, that the H1N1, the pandemic that was going on, the Obama-Biden administration did no test. Actually, they said no more testing. We know we have a pandemic. We don't want to test because if we test, it'll look like it's really bad, and then people will get scared, and we don't want that. We don't want them to know. We want them to think we're doing really good, and so we want no testing because if we test, it'll show that everybody has it. So that was in 2009. 2020, during this thing, they say, all we want is testing. Because why? They know the more you test, the more you'll find people that have it, and they can say, look at all these people are getting it, and it's getting worse. As you do more testing, you find more people, and then you have this thing. All right. Now here in California, it's flat. It is flat. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've been going to church with 9,000 to 10,000 people every Sunday and every Wednesday, look bigger than Sturgis. And we're all sitting there in church singing, having a good time. And there's nothing, right? That's nothing. I'm trying to make sure what I have on the whiteboard. I don't want to forget that. And so you have a lunatic in the governor's seat up there in Sacramento, whose aunt is Nancy Pelosi, right? So Nancy Pelosi hates the president. She obviously tells Gavin what to do because California is a very large state. It's bigger than most countries and has a very large effect on our economy. It being shut down affects our economy. Maybe not that much because we're doing really well. But she said, do whatever you do. You can't open schools. You can't open businesses. You need to keep it shut down until November. Find every reason to keep it shut down. And he has been trying, but now we've been flattening the curve because after a while, you start running out of people to test. Right. At some point, you're going to run out of people to test. You're going to start running into people that have it, and you're going to get this flattening, and it's going to drop off. That's what's going to happen. It's just common sense, right? So that starts to happen. Oh, we have a glitch. Oh, I got to fire the lady who's in charge of this because we don't want her doing anything to fix it or to say that it's not really broken. And she resigns. Nobody's saying anything. You can't talk to Gavin. He doesn't want to talk about it. And so he goes, but because of the glitch, we're still not opening up, even though things are good in California, good in regard to what he said, right? He said in 14 days, if it shows a decline, we'll open up schools, open up businesses, and we'll get back to work. And then you have all the defund and dismantle stuff going on to the point where they haven't even, you really may not even have to vote on this: Seattle, Portland, Minneapolis, Chicago, New York. You may not have to defund or dismantle because they're retiring. Most of the cops are retiring. Why don't you just let them retire? But no, you're still going to go through the process of saying, we're going to cut it, and we're cutting the pay for the chief of police. They're going to be doing all this stuff. You got it down to where you at Seattle currently going out on patrol for 725,000 people. You have 6 police officers for 725,000 people. Right. In Anaheim Police Department, where I was a police officer, we used Seattle quite often as a comparative, and they compared themselves to us because at the time our population was very similar. 850,000 now in Anaheim. and then 725 and that. And so that it just kind of was depending. I think we were somewhere in that neighborhood before, but Anaheim is the east end of Anaheim has grown. A lot of building went on, and so we creeped up a little bit. But we used to be back in when I was a cop there, which was 2005 was when I retired. You didn't have that building had just started, so the populations were very similar, and so we exchanged information. And so in Seattle, when you only have 6 police officers for 725,000, that's 1 officer per 120,000 people. And this is only people that live there. How many people come into Seattle, even now during the shutdown, they come in there to work? That increases the number of people that are in that city. What about people that may still be going there on vacation? It'd be kind of stupid to go there on vacation, but you may be going there on vacation. But in the time when there was vacation, and now you're up to a million people, this number doesn't change, and this number increases. So you have 1 officer per 150,000 people. It's an impossible thing. It is so dangerous. You'll never keep up with the crime. I mean, I'm going to tell you, as a police officer, even on a good day where we had full deployment on a weekend, Friday, Saturday night, there would be, I don't know, in Anaheim, 50 officers. You have to understand, you have motor officers that are out there rolling around that sometimes could be a backup to a patrol officer. You have special units, right? You have some ATOM units that are out there that have special tasks that sometimes like gang units, that kind of stuff that would also be helping. So it's somewhere in the neighborhood of about 50 cops roaming around the city of Anaheim, not 6. Right? At the time that the populations were pretty similar. And on those nights, myself, we rode in 1-man cars, right? There were a few ATOM cars, what ATOM mean there were 2 people in the cars. You'd have 1 guy in a car, me, right? And I would be handling myself personally anywhere from about 40 calls a night to 50 calls a night. 40 to 50 calls a night. And there'd be calls waiting. And that was with 50 police officers out on the street. Can you imagine? There's no way that 6 officers, because in a shooting, in a stabbing, in a domestic violence, in anything active in progress, a fight, a disturbance of some kind, a fight, not a domestic violence, but it's any kind of disturbance, you're going to always send 2 police officers. So you have 2. I mean, you could have 3 of those going on in the city at a time, easily, in the size of 725,000 people. Those cars are now done, right? Because you got 2. I don't know if they're doing 6 2-man cars or single-man cars. I would say during this time, they're probably having 2-man cars. And so 1 car going, you got 3 calls and you're done. How many more calls are coming? Constant calls are coming in. I'm telling you, you got trespassing calls. You got burglary report calls. You got auto theft calls. You got, robbery calls. You got petty theft calls at 7-Eleven, smash and grabs. And you got car stops going on. You got drug use calls. You got 5150 calls. You got calls coming out your ass. but you have 2 calls that require 2 officers, and you're done for about an hour per call, kind of somewhere around there. If you get there and nobody's there, that you could be there for 10 minutes and you'd be gone. But most calls, if there's something there and you're taking statements and you're doing all your stuff, the cars are tied up. It is an impossible situation. And you got these city council members and mayors that are going to make it worse. The crime is not going to stop if you get rid of the cops. It's just not. It is not going to go away. You're still going to have domestic violence. You're still going to have rapes. You're still going to have robberies. You're still going to have burglaries. You're still going to have auto theft. You're still going to have disturbance calls. You're going to I can go on all the list of calls that you could go on. Cat in a tree calls, right? Raccoon. We call the fire department. What's really, you're going to type a fire. Call a city council. Call a city council member. Maybe they'll handle the call. What are you going to do? This is really crazy. And again, this is only in Democratic cities. It's not happening in Republican cities, Republican states. This is only, and again, back to the dimwit Cameron, right? Who doesn't know apparently how a country is run. Our country is run. Is that this has nothing to do with. He's saying you guys are crazy for defunding cops in this. You need more cops. You need more money for cops, right? This is a city thing, a state thing that are run by Democrats. This is madness. 6 officers. I just heard this weekend. So this is brand new information. 6 officers per 725,000 people that live there, not counting people who work there on a daily basis, not counting the people who visit there. And it is impossible. I'm going to get into one last thing. So you also have, you're affecting all the detective bureaus and investigative bureaus, right? You defund a police department, and how are you going to now fund the detectives that are investigating the crimes that the patrol officers are taking reports for? The rape report is taken by the patrolman. Sometimes they call a detective. He comes out and he contacts the victim. But you now have these detectives that are going to be affected. And I told you I was a sex crimes detective in Anaheim Police Department, and we had 4 police officers and 4 detectives in sex crimes. Each of us got 500 cases a year. 4 of us got 500 cases a year. That works out to 2,000 cases a year. 2,000 cases a year, and we could not get to all of them. It's impossible. It is literally impossible to go through the entire investigative process for one rape or one child molestation, do an entire month's job of investigation, contacting witnesses, processing evidence, retaining experts that look at bite marks, or if they use some type of tool to commit the rape or something, and getting impressions, and then you have all kinds of processes that have to go through with the ID tax and that kind of stuff, and outside organizations that you have to go to in order to thoroughly question a child. It would have to go to a special unit within the County of Orange, and they would actually question the child because they were trained to do that. And you didn't want necessarily a burly, looking detective standing over a 3-year-old child asking them questions about sex. They have counselors do that. All these things take time. That's just in sex crimes. You have burglary, you have homicide, right? You have robbery detail, you have narcotics detail, you have traffic for all the traffic collisions and traffic violations that are going on, road closures that they have to be responsible for. You have the helicopter detail, you have the SWAT detail, you have the canine units, you have the equestrian unit, and can you see what's happening here? And so these are all, again, Democratic run cities and states. Cameron, this is for you, so you understand. I know that you may be a little light in the head, is that you have Democratic run cities, city council making decisions to do this to you. They're doing it to you. They're doing it here in California. They're doing it to you in Chicago. I know people live in Chicago. They're doing it to you in New York. They're doing it to you in Baltimore. There's a bunch of stuff happening in Baltimore too. In Washington, D.C., there was a shooting where 20 people were shot. How many people were shot? I wrote it down. Yeah, 20 people injured, 1 dead. Nobody reported on that in Washington, D.C. Why? Because they don't want you to know that there was a big shooting. 20 people were shot in one shooting, one incident. That would make most the news for the day of a shooting on a large scale. That would have made the news and would have been like the first thing you see, right? Huge incident in Washington, D.C. Somebody went on a shooting spree, shot 20 people, 1 dead. And nothing. The news doesn't want you to know that happened in Washington, D.C. because they don't want you to think Washington, D.C. has anything going on. There was another bunch of shootings in Baltimore. There was also an explosion of the gas thing that went up because apparently there's nobody taking care of the old dilapidated buildings out there because it's a shithole, right? Another Democratic-run city. Virginia, where they let out the prisoner that killed the rape victim. The suspect of who raped the victim went and shot the victim after he got released because of COVID-19. Democratic-run governor of that particular state. And again, same thing in Washington, D.C. And then you look at this happening in Seattle. Again, this isn't do all you want. Continue to say that Donald Trump did nothing for the pandemic. Everybody knows that he did. Everybody knows about when he closed the country down. Everybody knows all the things, the corporations he what's the act that he used? He used a special act to get everybody making the respirators, the masks, the PPE, a number of other things. He got the military involved in setting up a bunch of hospitals. He got 2 ships sent to each coast. It did way more than anybody. No Democrat ever came up with a solution. The only thing, just a couple months ago, or maybe less than that, maybe a few weeks ago, Biden came up with a plan. It was Donald Trump's plan, the same one. Like he plagiarized. He's plagiarized enough. He just might as well plagiarize whatever the president done. And so you can go on that ridiculousness that Donald Trump did nothing for the pandemic. you are crazy. You are nuts. He's helping actually other countries with their pandemic. That's how good of a job he's done. He's not only helping us with ours, and the government had just put in just a whole bunch of, they reduced restrictions and regulations. And, I'm not into the virus or the vaccine thing. He can do all he wants with that, but has done a great job with the vaccine, even though a number of us aren't going to take it. He's doing a great job with that too. And I think he even knows. He goes, "Oh, they want the vaccine, so we're going to get a vaccine." But he's got, I know nobody's going to take it. He has done more for this country than any other president since Abraham Lincoln, and that is the truth. I know that drives people crazy. I know that I'll get a bunch of comments here that'll say you're an idiot, but that is true. So if you haven't had enough yet, it's time for you to enough. Like I said on my video earlier today, is that it's just time to speak up. It's time to let people know, and share if you want, just share my thing and say, this guy's kind of wacky. You might want to listen to him, and maybe share it out, subscribe and share with your friends. But this has all got to stop and again, I just wanted to list a whole bunch of things that you have to realize that they have a serious problem. And I say this often, the great thing about our president is that he's exposed how stupid many people, including some Republicans, are dumb as I rock. And however they got elected is beyond me. They were able to fool people long enough, but they can't fool us any longer. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Nadler, Adam Schiff. I can go on. There's a whole bunch of them. They have been exposed for dimwits, and they're just as dumb as rocks. And that's the best part of his presidency for me, is how he's just exposed all these people. And the reason it's good is because it's exposing the fact that they completely made up a false document to use as so-called evidence to begin spying on the Trump campaign. They allowed it to be paid for by the Democratic National Committee and Hillary Clinton. They know now that Biden and Obama were part of the process, because many of the meetings regarding this process and spying on Donald Trump and General Flynn all took place in the Oval Office. And they involved the FBI, the DOJ, the CIA, and it's all coming out. And again, if you want to learn more about some of the other stuff that just came and how it's all kind of really coming together, listen to Dan Bongino's podcast today. It is really worth watching and watch. I watch it on YouTube. You can listen to it on a podcast if you want to, but the information is fantastic. And so there you go. I hope this has been helpful for some of you to kind of give you some talking points to talk to your friends who think you're crazy. But it's just pointing out the facts. All I want to do is just show you things that are really happening. All these things are happening. I didn't give you, I gave you a few stats, but this is real stuff, right? Gavin Newsom has really not spoken for a week. The public health director did resign late last night. They did say there's a glitch and now we can't trust it. And so we're still not going to open up the state, because it is showing improvement, but we're not going to, all that stuff is real. The victim of the rape being killed by the suspect who raped her, real. The man who got released for murder from prison because of COVID-19, murdered again. That is real. The shootings in Washington, D.C. that occurred yesterday, real. All these things are real. All these things are happening in Democrat-run cities with horrible policies, not just in the last 3 years. None of this stuff really just happened in the last 3 years. This has been going on for decades. This is what you need to know. All right, so I hope this has been helpful. Oh, how do you like my new sign? It says, Jesus is my savior and Trump is my president. I got that yesterday at the rally. Somebody handed it to me. And I thought, well, I'll put it right there. It'll be perfect on my show. All right, my friends, I hope you've enjoyed this particular show. I don't know. There's much to enjoy. There wasn't a lot right there, right? There's not a lot to say, wow, that was really fun. No, I'm so sorry. Sometimes we have to talk about this stuff. And I have a beer right here waiting for me. It's nice and cold that I'm going to take a big swig after I get done, because sometimes we need that, right? You need to breathe and go, well, yeah, there's that. And so we need to speak up. And I'm hoping that's what you get out of it, that it's going to motivate you. It's going to move you. I know you're afraid of losing friends. I know you're afraid of losing family. I know you're afraid of losing your job. I know you're afraid of losing your position at some maybe thing that you do, but you got to do it. The doctor who spoke out, oh my gosh, I forgot her name. The doctor spoke out and then they pulled down. There was a bunch of doctors. She lost her job, right? She lost her job as an emergency room doctor in 2 hospitals. They fired her. And so she goes, I don't care. I needed to speak up. I don't care that I lost my job. This was more important than my job. You have my pastor, Jack Hibbs. He says, come take me to jail. I don't care because this is more important that we show up every Sunday on 3 services and on Wednesday nights than worrying about that. Gavin Newsom, come and get me, is what he tells. I could go on. I don't know. I think I've lost a few friends, but were they really your friends? I don't know. I have friends that are Democrats that are still with me, and they listen, I think, from time to time. I kind of see them listening from time to time, and they're still around. Someday, maybe they'll be part of the walk away movement. Maybe. That would be awesome. I know that I have 3 that have walked away, and so that's been pretty cool. All right. My son's calling. I got to go. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye.